Hi, I'm Dr. Ben Matthews, former Chief School Operations Officer at the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction and an elementary and middle school principal across North Carolina. I'm joined by Rodney Poole, Education Specialist with Talk It Out NC, a state-sponsored initiative to reduce underage drinking. We're talking about how families in North Carolina can address the problem of underage drinking. What are some things parents can do to reduce or stop underage drinking?
That's a great question, Dr. Matthews. It's really important that parents educate themselves so that they can have conversations with their young people about the dangers of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Our website, talkitoutnc.org, has a ton of information that's research-based, that's current, that parents can use on learning how to have those conversations. And opposed to having one 60-minute conversation, it's recommended they have 61-minute conversations. Being aware of what's going on with their son or daughter, paying attention to their moods, any issues they may be having, transitional times from middle school to high school, from not driving to driving, is really important, as well as having conversations. Once again, on our website, talkitoutnc.org, there's a ton of information on how to have conversations with their young people about alcohol and other drugs.
I think that's just crucial in a parent-child relationship. Conversations is one of the things I was very impressed with Talk It Out NC from the outset when it very first started. I thought, okay, if we can get kids and parents talking about this, I think that's going to be a great step. What are some of the risks of teenagers consuming alcohol?
Well, that's a great question. From the standpoint of the human brain continues to develop till upwards of age 25. So for a teenager who is consuming alcohol, the research is very clear. There are a number of health risks for that young person consuming. When young people get together and drink, very seldom is the drinking social. It's very frequently in the form of binge drinking or very high risk drinking. For a teenager, it's the one time in their lives that they most care about what they think other people think about them. So they're very aware of their peers, and peers have very powerful levels of influence. So for a teenager consuming at a party situation, very frequently it can be a very dangerous situation. When it comes to academic and athletic performance, alcohol has been shown to affect both of them in very intense ways, if you will, as well as recovering from injuries, the risk of injuries. There are just so many risks for a teenager who's consuming alcohol.
Yeah. And I know children, teenagers don't generally have a long view of life, but I believe the research shows that kids who start drinking at an early age are more likely as time progresses to turn into alcoholic behavior or problem drinking later in life.
Absolutely, the risk is greatly increased.
Yeah. Oh, should a parent teach a young person to drink responsibly?
I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that question from parents during parent meetings. There's no research to support the idea that allowing a teenager to drink creates a responsible drinker. There's no research that actually supports that. Now, does that mean that if you allow your child to have a glass of wine, they're going to become alcoholic? Absolutely not. But it does increase the risk. The problem is that when young people get together amongst themselves, the drinking is way different than it is when it's at the dinner table, when it's supervised by adults. So there are some countries that are looking at raising their drinking age. Why? Because when young people, like I said, once again, when they get together and drink, the drinking is at dangerous levels.
Do all college kids drink?
Absolutely not. After 5 years of clean time, I'm actually in recovery, this is my 29th year, but after 5 years of clean time, I decided to go to college full time, and I joined a fraternity and didn't drink once. It's totally possible. Now, I never walked around with a sign saying recover or die or alcohol's the devil. When the opportunity presented itself, I just said no thank you. And eventually I became known as that guy who didn't drink, as one of those people. It never got in the way. It was never an issue, the fact that I chose not to. It's highly recommended that a young person surround themselves in college with people who are like-minded, who can be supportive of their decision not to drink. It's really recommended for a young person to have a very strong self-identity, to be able to say no if they choose to, without apology or even explanation.
Absolutely right. They need to find a tribe for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What are some things a teen can do to keep themselves safe at a party?
Well, at Talk It Out NC, we encourage young people to socialize and have friends, but it can be done in a safe way. in my experience with college students, they say that if you are choosing to go to a party, have a plan in place. If you made the decision not to drink, it may be a good idea to have some support with you, your peers, if you will, that can watch your back, can pay attention to what's going on. Maybe not staying until the party's over. Have a plan in place to get home safely. So it can be done where the college experience can be very successful, can be healthy, and can be very fruitful without alcohol.
Thank you, Rodney. Very pleasant conversation today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
For ideas on how to start the conversation about underage drinking, visit talkitoutnc.org. Thank you.